Hey, welcome back to this main lecture on Paulo Freire on critical pedagogy. In terms of a definition, critical pedagogy is a pedagogy which must be forged with, not for, the oppressed, whether individual peoples, in the incessant struggle to regain their humanity. Critical pedagogy asks this central question in terms of education. Quote, how can the oppressed as divided, unauthentic beings participate in developing the pedagogy of their own liberation? So Freire is trying to help liberate people through his pedagogy. In terms of a background, critical pedagogy first is a philosophy of education and social movement combined. 2, it combines education with critical theory. 3, it's started by Freire and developed by people like Henry Giroux, among others. And 4, just as a description, it's an educational movement to help students develop consciousness of freedom, recognize authoritarian tendencies, and connect knowledge to power and the ability to take constructive action. So again, it's more of a constructive way to deal with things like being oppressed, being subject of authoritarian power, etc. Freire did this work based on his own work among the illiterate poor in Brazil. He embraced non-orthodox liberation theology to help move his work forward. 3, in 1962, it was his first opportunity for significant application of his theories. There in Brazil, he worked with 300 sugarcane workers and taught them to read and write within 45 days, which is pretty astounding. Due to the success of this movement, responding to the experiment, Brazil's government approved creation of thousands of cultural circles across the country based off of Freire's work. He works in terms of the ideas go among the oppressed and oppressor. So we'll talk about the oppressed first. Quote, submerged in reality, the oppressed cannot perceive clearly the order which serves the interests of the oppressors whose image they have internalized. So they often can't find out what the source of some of their problems are. 2, there's an attraction of the oppressor. Quote, in their alienation, the oppressed want at any cost to resemble the oppressor, to imitate him or to follow him. This is something that Freire tries to help them work throughout. And not because of all of these points, there's a self-depreciation among the oppressed. In terms of the oppressor, quote, the oppressor is in solidarity with the oppressed only when he stops regarding the oppressed as an abstract category and sees them as persons who have been unjustly dealt with, deprived of their voice, cheated in the sale of their labor. When he stops making pious, sentimental, and individualistic gestures and risks an act of love. True solidarity is found only in the plenitude of this act of love and its existentiality and its praxis. From this, Freire wants the oppressor to see the oppressed as being people and to work with them to fight back through their oppression. This is found in their action and reflection. Freire believes that true reflection leads to action, which is people moving beyond this oppression. On the second point, on the other hand, when the situation calls for action, that action will constitute an authentic praxis only if its consequences become the object of critical reflection. So, Freire, through his literacy programs, wants people to create a critical reflection on what they're on their lives and how they live within it. 3, political action on the side of the oppressed must be pedagogical action in the authentic sense of the word, and therefore action with the oppressed. So again, any type of political action, it must be pedagogical action, and it must be action that works with the oppressed to help them get beyond the way they've been oppressed. That was Paulo Freire's Critical Pedagogy. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.